Today we will learn about the solubility. Solubility means the amount of solute that can be dissolved in 100 gram of solvent at particular temperature to make the saturated solution. If we take 100 gram of any solvent, say for water, and keep on adding the solute in it, then after some times we will reach to a stage where it appears that no more of the solute is dissolving in it at that temperature. This solution is called as saturated solution. As we know how any solute dissolves in given liquid, so when any solute is put in liquid, then the particles of the solute dislode from the crystal and then they disappear in the intermolecular spaces in between the solvent molecules. Actually, this happens because when we put the solute in any liquid, then liquid molecules hit the crystal constantly and overcome the force of attraction by which the particles are held in crystal. Then they are disloaded from the crystal and then they come in the medium. Now, medium molecules stabilize the solute particles by arranging themselves around the solute particles. This process is called as hydration or solvation. So, actually, in making the solution, two energies are involved. One is lattice enthalpy and another is hydration enthalpy. This is required to overcome the force of attraction between the solute particles or ions in case of ionic solute, so that they can be separated from the lattice and come into the medium. And then medium molecules stabilize the ion by arranging themselves around them by ion dipole attraction. Lattice enthalpy is required and hydration enthalpy is released. So, for any solute get dissolved in given liquid, its enthalpy of dissolution should be negative. Means lattice enthalpy should be lower and hydration enthalpy should be greater. Now, we will discuss about the solubility of solid in liquid. It depends upon several factors like nature of solute and solvent. So, here is one principle that is called as like dissolves like. It means if we have ionic or polar solute, then they will be soluble in polar solvent like water. For example, sodium chloride dissolve in water, but iodine is soluble in CCl4. Iodine is not soluble in water because iodine is covalent and non-polar, whereas water is polar. So, their nature do not match here. So, actually for dissolution, this is the first principle, that this should be A-like, like dissolves like. Another factor is temperature. In case of solid in liquid solubility, solubility increases with temperature, but in some cases solubility decreases with temperature, as in cerium sulfate, and some solutes exhibit abnormal behavior, irregular behavior. When the solute in liquid is heated, then they first increase it, decrease it, and then increase it, like that. Pressure has negligible effect on solubility of solid in liquid. Now, we will see the solubility of gas in liquid. The volume of gas dissolved in unit volume of liquid at particular temperature and 1 atmospheric pressure to make saturated solution is called solubility of gas in liquid. It may be expressed in terms of mole fraction and molarity also. Now, factors affecting solubility of gas. First one is here also the nature of gas and liquid. So, nature of gas and liquid, like dissolves like, means the gas and liquid should be alike. If they are alike, then they will be soluble. And if they are not alike, so if they are reacting to form water soluble compound, then that time also the gas will be soluble in given liquid. There is common observation like gases as hydrogen chloride gas, H2S gas, ammonia, they are soluble in water. Either they react with water or due to hydrogen bonding. Similarly, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, they are very less soluble in water because they are covalent, non-polar, and water is polar, so they are not alike. But they are soluble in CCl4 or organic solvent. They are more soluble in alcohol as compared to in water where they are very less or not soluble. Now, the effect of temperature on solubility. Solubility of gas in given liquid or water decreases on heating or with increase in temperature. So when we increase the temperature, then the dissolved gases will bubble out. As we know that the solubility of gas in given solvent is an exothermic process. So as we know, by applying the Le-Chatelier principle, if we increase the temperature, then it will shift in backward direction and dissolved gaseous molecules will come out in the form of gas bubbles. Next is effect of pressure. This is most important topic from examination point of view because here we will study about Henry's law. In order to understand what is the effect of pressure on solubility, let us take one closed system. Here some gas is enclosed over the fixed amount of liquid, and then one weight is put over the piston. Now this start moving down, and then ultimately after some times it becomes constant. It does not come further lower. So this shows that now here is equilibrium. Actually what happens? Gaseous molecules collide at the surface of liquid. In doing so, they lose their energy and then they pass in the solution. As the population of gaseous molecules in the liquid increases, they also collide with each other and then again they start going into the vapor phase. That is called as evaporation. After some times, the rate of dissolution becomes equal to rate of evaporation, and this happens at some pressure. Let it be P1. Now, what is the effect of pressure? Let us see. Now, if we put one more weight to increase the pressure over the gas. So, when we put one more weight, then this piston comes down. Now, when it comes down, now the same number of molecules acquire the lesser volume over the liquid. Now, since they are occupying lesser volume, so they more often strike the surface of liquid, lose their energy, and then they are trapped in the liquid state. It means now the solubility get increased. Quantitatively, the effect of pressure on solubility is given by Henry's law. Henry's law can be stated in three different ways. First way is the mass of the gas dissolved in given volume of liquid at constant temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas over the liquid at equilibrium. Now, M is directly proportional to P. So, M will be equal to KHP, where KH is Henry's law constant, which depends upon nature of gas, solvent as well as temperature. Now, another way of stating the Henry's law is in terms of solubility, which is expressed as mole fraction of gas. Solubility of gas in liquid at particular temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas in equilibrium with liquid at that temperature. So here XA is mole fraction of gas, that is solubility of gas. Pa is the pressure of the gas over the liquid, and KH is Henry's law constant. But note that in this expression, the KH, the unit of KH will be here per atmosphere or per bar. Now, the most common way of stating the Henry's law is this third way. The partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of gas in the solution. Actually, Dalton as well as Henry, they were the scientists of the same time, contemporary scientists. So according to the Dalton, when if two or more gases are enclosed over any liquid at particular temperature, then that gas will dissolve more in liquid whose partial pressure is greater. So greater the partial pressure, greater will be the solubility. So partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the solution at particular temperature. So this can be expressed like this one. Pa is directly proportional to Xa at constant temperature. So Pa will be equal to Kh into Xa. Here Kh is Henry's law constant and its unit is atmosphere or bar or kilobar. This is the most commonly used formula. Sometimes you will be given the kh value of two different gases and you are asked which is more soluble. So ध्यान रहे यहाँ पर कि kh का solubility के साथ reciprocal का relation होगा. Higher the value of kh, lower will be its solubility. For example, kh value of oxygen and carbon dioxide in water at two temperatures are given. Here temperatures are not much different, so their values are like this. So if from here it is clear that the kh value of carbon dioxide is much lower, so it is more soluble in liquid as compared to oxygen. Now, the validity of the Henry's law can be judged by plotting a graph between partial pressure and mole fraction. Then this gives a straight line passing through the origin, and the slope of this line gives the value of kh. So this shows the validity of Henry's law. Now, limitation of Henry's law. Henry's law can be applicable only if the pressure is low and temperature is high. Under these conditions, as we know that gases behave ideally. Gas should not react with given liquid to form any compound. Another, gases should not dissociate in liquid, as if you put HCl in water, then hydrogen chloride gas will dissociate into H plus and Cl minus. So it cannot be applied there. Application of Henry's law as production of carbonated beverages in deep sea diving, function of lungs. As in deep sea diving, the scuba divers used compressed air for their respiration. So since compressed air is dissolved in blood, oxygen is utilized in metabolic process and nitrogen remain dissolved and it is not utilized there. So when a scuba diver comes up, then his body will be subjected to 1 atmospheric pressure. Now dissolved nitrogen will starts making the bubbles that causes the problem there in the body, that is called decompression sickness. Now here is a numerical problem based on this one. This is very important and it has been asked in board also. If nitrogen gas is bubbled through water at 293 Kelvin, how many millimoles of nitrogen gas would be dissolved in 1 liter of water? Sometimes it is given 500 ml of water. Assume that nitrogen exert partial pressure of this one, kh for this nitrogen gas in water is given. Now first we will write what is given, Pa, kh and the volume of water 1 liter. Now let the number of mole of nitrogen dissolved in 1 liter be n. So now according to Henry's law, Pn2 equal to kh into xn2. Now xn2 will be equal to partial pressure of nitrogen upon kh. So this on solving we get 1.29 into 10 raised to power minus 5. Now since the mole fraction of nitrogen is equal to mole fraction of nitrogen plus total number of moles in solution. So since solution is 1 liter water, so 1 liter equivalent to 1000 gram. So if you divide it by 18, so this will give the number of moles of water. So if you put the value here, then this one is 1.29 10 raised to power minus 5 equal to number of moles of nitrogen. Now see here, since number of moles of nitrogen is very small, as is clear from mole fraction, which is too small value as compared to 55.55. So this can be neglected here. We take here only 55.55. on solving you will get this 71.595 into 10 raised to the power minus 5 moles. Now since millimole is asked, 1 mole equal to 10 raised to the power 3 millimoles, so multiply it by 10 raised to the power 3, then you will get the answer 0.716 millimoles, and write here that this is our required answer, and enclose the answer in boxes as is required to make the answer systematic. Thank you.